basketball tryouts are getting closer by the week. And today I wanted to continue the series that I started last week on skills that you should show off in your high school basketball tryouts. Now, if you were with me last week, you know that we covered how to show off your control on the basketball court. Well, today we're going to cover a really critical but often overlooked skill, and that is communication. Let's jump in and discuss. Welcome back to Hard Smart Together. I'm Coach Dave. I'm here every week to help basketball players become the smart, confident players that coaches love. So the skill that I want you showing off in your high school basketball tryouts this week is communication. And you might say, communication? How is that a basketball skill? Well, let me tell you something. As a basketball player, your communication on the court is one of the most important skills that you can have. And so few players work on this skill. So few players show off this skill. And that's why it's going to be so effective for you to stand out in your tryouts if you use the tips that I'm going to give you today that'll enable you to not just be a better basketball player, but again, we're trying to give you skills that you can show off and stand out. You know, why is communication so often overlooked? I mean, a lot of times basketball players don't really know what to say on the court, okay? A lot of times you feel uncomfortable speaking out, right? And a lot of times you don't know how to communicate effectively with your teammates, with coaches, okay? So those are the 3 tips we're gonna give you today. We're gonna give you tips that help in those 3 areas. What to say on the court, how to say it on the court, and how to let coaches know that you're hearing them as well. These are all communication skills. So before I get started with those 3 tips I'm going to give you today, I love to give you a free gift just for listening today, just for joining today. So if you haven't already downloaded the 8 intangible skills that coaches love to see in players, I do make that available for free. It's a PDF checklist. It's got some ways that you can implement these skills. This is a great checklist just to go over going into tryouts. These are skills that also make you stand out. So I highly recommend, if you haven't already downloaded that, be sure and go to the link I put in the description below, or you can simply go to hardsmarttogether.com/intangibles, and I'll be sure to get you that free gift. So what are these 3 tips I have for you to become a more effective communicator on the court? Number 1, and we've talked about, this is a recurring theme, communication on this channel. So if you've listened for a long time, some of this might be a reminder for you. Others, this might be new. But the first thing I want you to do is use names. You should be using names all the time on the court. Now, why do we use names? Names grab people's attention. It's just a natural reaction when somebody uses your name. Just think, walking down the street, somebody calls out, Coach Dave. I'm like, oh, somebody just called out my name. Where is it, right? It's just a natural human reaction. So because names call out your attention and kind of shine a spotlight on you, you want to use other people's names throughout the course of a basketball game, okay? The best example I can get is in passing and catching. I will tell you, it always drives me crazy when somebody wants a pass to hear a player going, ball, ball, ball. Everybody says, ball, ball. If you really want a pass, call out the name of the person with the ball, right? Dave, Cindy, whatever the case might be, they're going to naturally glance over and go, oh, they're open. And if you're open, if it's a good pass, they'll make a pass to you. If they're unselfish, there's a lot that goes into it. But you will grab their attention by calling out their name. Similar, if you have the ball and you're passing to somebody, how many times have you gone to make a pass and all of a sudden they decided, the person you're passing to, they're going to go away instead of screen, or they're going to cut baseline, and, or there's no communication, right? But if you call out their name, it attracts their attention, they turn around and receive the ball, right? So passing and catching names, but there's so many other instances where you can use names, right? Bob, screen right. Jeff, box out. Warren, I've got your help, right? So I've got your help right, I've got your help left. There's just so many. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. So the first tip is start using names if you aren't already, and use a lot of them in practice. It'll make you stand out. Believe me, the coach will hear it and be like, well, one, they're really useful using the names, but they know a lot of players too. If you don't know all the players on the team or in the tryouts, find out some names and use those. Okay. Number 2, I want you to be a leader with your communication, not a cheerleader with your communication. And what does that mean? I want your communication, what you say after using a name, to be useful information. Information that is going to help your team and help you and help your teammates. Okay? So what is useful information? Useful information is either something that's happening right now, and I just use some examples, right? Hey, screen right, screen left, I've got your help, whatever the case, shots up, box out, whatever the case might be. Things that are happening right now. There are also things that are about to happen that you can give a reminder of, okay? Maybe it's in a timeout. Maybe it's during a free throw situation. You want to stand out in tryouts. When there's a free throw situation, be the one that issues reminders. Who's got shooter? Everybody box out, right? That's organizing your team. That's using your communication and leading, not being a cheerleader. Cheerleaders are sitting there, nice shot, nice steal, great hustle. There's plenty of cheerleaders in the stands, right? Teams need leaders with their voice. Being a leader doesn't mean you have to be the captain. It doesn't mean, I love a team full of leaders. Leaders that are leading with their voice and making a difference with their communication with each other, with coaches, okay? So useful information, things that you can help your teammates on the court with as it's happening or before it's happening, is useful leading information. Don't be the cheerleader that after everything happens, you say good play, good shot, bad shot, whatever the case might be. Be a leader in the huddle when your coach isn't talking and you're breaking the huddle. Be the leader that says, hey, everybody, let's work the ball for a good shot. Or let's get a stop on defense. Watch those screens. Let's call out those screens, right? Because those screens are killing us. Watch the trap on the press. Watch the trap at half court. They're trapping at half court. Reminders so that your team is ready for things. Be a leader with your communication. Okay. Then the third tip I've got for you has to do with you and your coach's relationship. This is a subtle thing that is such a great communication skill to have. Whenever your coach is speaking, whether it's in a huddle, a timeout, just on the court in practice, whatever the case might be, I want you to make sure, stop whatever you're doing and make eye contact with your coach. I can't tell you how frustrating it is for a coach to be talking to a gym full of players and realize that half or more than half are not looking at them. And just, are they paying attention? Are they not paying attention? I don't know. This is frustrating. That's one of the first steps to running liners for conditioning, let me tell you, when a coach doesn't think the team is hearing them. You want to stand out in tryouts? Make sure and make eye contact with the coach so that the coach knows they're dialed in. Take that to another level. When the coach gives instruction, when the coach says something, it doesn't need to be demonstrative. It doesn't need to be with your voice. You don't need to be, a kiss ass, but just a nod of I hear you. Okay? Eye contact and just a I got it. I hear you. Okay? You combine that with another time in practice where the coach has said, listen, we've got to box out. Nobody's boxing out, right? You got eye contact, you got a nod, and then during a critical time, 20 minutes down in practice, you see it, maybe the team isn't boxing out, and you say, listen guys, we got to box out. And reinforce to the coach that you were listening. Not only did you make eye contact, not only was there a subtle nod of I gotcha, but then there was a reminder to the team down the road. That's the kind of player, that's the kind of communication that coaches want on their team. That's the kind of communication that takes you from, not making the team to making it, or being a starter, or being a contributor, going from JV to varsity, whatever the case might be. If your skill sets are all equal, your hard skill sets as far as like on the court, maybe you shoot the same, you're about the same athleticism, whatever, everything, but you're a better communicator, who do you think the coach is going to choose? Who do you think the coach is going to, want on their team? So that is your skill set for this week. We'll cover another skill next week in this series. Hopefully this was helpful. If this was helpful, give me a like. Give me a comment if this is something that maybe you haven't been the greatest communicator on the court in the past, but you plan to do it for this tryout. Please give me a comment below and let me know. And until next week, remember to play hard, play smart, and play together. See you next week.